you got to be a level-headed person, and you have to just have perseverance. I think that's the thing I've asked of every guest that has come on every podcast of mine is that, hey, would you say that perseverance and sticking with it and is it? And they're like, yeah. And I mean, if you dive deep enough with all these people, you're going to find an individual who is screwed up, who has apologized, who has gotten better, who's learned. And I'm not just talking about personal issues. I'm talking about even in the craft, all of the stuff, right? And they're just always becoming better. And they're always striving to get better, and they don't give up. If it's something that you really want, and you're watching this show right now, and you're saying, oh, I want to be an author, but then 5 days later you say you don't want to, you don't want it enough. That's just good advice for any writing podcast.
Absolutely.
Right? You don't have these things people are like, oh, you got to pound out this many words and be dedicated this way. I don't know about all that. But what I do know is you have to want it super badly, that even if you can only write 200 words a day, you do it. And you'll stick with something, and you'll persevere, and you'll continue to listen to things like this and ask for help and get involved in communities and, writers groups and networking.
Yeah, and find your people.
Yeah, and beyond just the Facebook swapping and the newsletter swaps, you invest in your craft. And so just do that, and I know that everyone will be fantastic. And that's probably my highest level advice if I could.
Yeah, no, that's great advice. And that's one thing of anything at all that I found in this thing, is that perseverance is definitely number one. I think you got to be a little crazy too. Level-headed crazy, of course. I calculated crazy is that, you really should stop because this just doesn't work and you're banging your head against the wall and it's starting to show. But that's the time where you just got to keep doing it. I think last week I was telling my 8-year-old daughter who's having a lot of hard time with certain things or with something. I kind of gave a few examples, at her level that she would understand, like YouTube influencers or things like that. And I said to her, it's like, you see these people out there in, whatever field that are extremely successful. What you don't see is that those people, the reason they're successful is because they're the biggest losers you'll ever meet. They found as many ways as possible to lose, to screw it up, to have everything get thrown at them that, should have taken them off their tracks. And they found a way to overcome that and to make it work and to learn from it to the point where now they're extremely successful. Geez, there's a reason that, I've been reviewing books for over 20 years, but I've just finally come up with a book about how to do book reviews. So it's like,
what? How can that be, right? But
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Mr. Beast, he's like the world's, the number one YouTuber in the whole world, and you hear about his story, which is pretty popular now. It took him 10 years to get anywhere. He sucked at it, and he was the biggest loser. He sucked, and now, of course, you would never think he's the biggest loser because he's the biggest success story now that we have.
We could have, again, we talked about this one. I think we could do nonstop on just the mindset of being an author, because when that voice comes in, that voice isn't real. Yeah, and there's whole tricks to that, because now we're talking about how you can implement everything we say, right? But if that voice gets to you or you don't see the results right away, that voice, that's a whole nother story to how to be that voice, right? So we can do that too. That's I hate to say it, but that's really where it starts, right?
Yeah.
Why is it that one person blows up and the other person doesn't, and yet their craft, you read their books, it's like, they really are pretty much, they're good. I like both these people equally, right?
Yeah.
Why can that be? Why can that be? And I think a lot of times it has to do with the voice and how we feel inside and we approach, and those are the things that no one can see. Yeah, they can't see that.